It's just starting over. This is not the end. It's just starting over. Let's do it again. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to Patrick Dugan Music. Today we're going to learn how to play the chord progression for my new single, Starting Over. Let's get into it. A couple of things before we get started. We're going to be learning the acoustic guitar part today, and we need to have a capo on the 2nd fret in order to do this. If you don't have the capo, you can still learn the tabs the way that they're written. Just keep in mind it's not going to match what I'm playing on my guitar because I am using a capo on the 2nd fret. Now the overview of this chord progression is this is an 8-bar blues progression in 6/8 time. Walking through some of the broad strokes here, it's going to be like this. E, C sharp minor, E, A sus2, E, B7, E, B augmented. We can also generalize this progression using Roman numerals. For example, this would be the 1 to 6 minor, back to 1 to 4, 1, 5 7, 1, and then 5 augmented. Right? And we're in 6/8 time, so the rhythm is counting like this. 1 2 3 4 5 6, 1 2 3 4 5 6, 1 2 3 4 5 6, 1 2 3 4 5 6, 1 3 4 5 6, 1 2 3 4 5 6, 1 2 3 4 5 6, 1 2 3 4 5 6. So that's 8 measures altogether in 6/8 time. Now let me walk you through the chords that I'm using real quick. The first one is just a regular E major. Although sometimes I do an E7 here, and there's a few other little tricks that I do, but let's start off with an E major chord. Make sure your index finger's on string 3, 1st fret. Your middle finger's on string 5, 2nd fret. And your ring finger's on string 4, 2nd fret. We're strumming all the strings. Okay, the second chord is C sharp minor 7. And there's a couple ways we could do this. Probably the easiest way is going to be to put your middle finger on string number 5, 4th fret. Then we're going to stretch over with our index finger to string 4, 2nd fret. And we're going to put our ring finger on string 3, 4th fret. And then strum from the 5th string down. You ought to be grabbing these 2 open strings, 1 and 2. Those ought to be ringing out in the mix there. Now, if this fingering feels uncomfortable for you, you could also do this with fingers 3, 1, and 4, which will create a more comfortable fingering here, but perhaps a more awkward transition when you're coming from the E chord, because I usually slide up into that. So, I'm going to be playing it with fingers 1, 2, and 3, but just keep in mind that you could use fingers 1, 3, and 4 to make that stretch a bit more comfortable. So up to you how you want to do that one. Cool. We come back to an E major. Then we're going to an A sus2, which is just basically the 2nd fret string 4 and the 2nd fret string 3, strumming from the 5th string down. And then sometimes I add a little sort of extra note here on string 1 on the 2nd fret there. Cool, then we're coming back to an E. We're going to a B7 next. Middle finger string 5, 2nd fret. Index finger string 4, 1st fret. Ring finger string 3, 2nd fret. Pinky finger string 1, 2nd fret. So this is B7, strumming from the 5th string down. Then we go back to an E. And then the last chord here, which is also the very first chord at the opening of the song, is B augmented. Sometimes you'll see this chord written as B and a plus symbol. It's an easy chord to play on the guitar. It's just 2 fingers. Put your index finger on string 4, 1st fret, and put your middle finger on string 5, 2nd fret, and we're going to strum strings 5, 4, 3, and 2. Gonna try to avoid string 1, but it's not gonna be the end of the world if you accidentally strum that one. Okay, so those are the chords. Let's look at that one more time, just doing 1 strum apiece. So it's E major, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. C sharp minor 7. Right, I've got my index finger is on 2nd fret string 4, middle finger's on 4th fret string 5, ring finger's on 4th fret string 3. Kind of a stretch there, strumming from the 5th string down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Back to E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A sus2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you want to do the little pinky fill on that A chord, you can. Back to E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. B7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Back to E. And then B augmented. Now I tabbed out an example of the guitar part that I'm actually playing here, but keep in mind that I play this a little bit differently every single time it repeats. So this is just sort of an example, but let's check it out. So we're going to start with the E chord, and we're going to strum, and then pick string 6, do a hammer-on string 5, 0, 2, pick strings 4 and 3, pick string 5 again. So altogether that first measure and the tablature is going to be watch that one more time. Now we're on the second measure, and my middle finger is going to slide up for me to get this chord, right? So I'm sliding from the 2nd fret up into the 4th fret on string 5. Then I'm going to add these other 2 fingers, my index and my ring finger. Cool, so here's that one again. Then we're coming back to the E chord. I'm on measure number 3 now. Right, that one I started on strings 6, 5, and 4. Do another hammer on, another strum, and a pick. I'm doing that strum there as an upstroke. Watch what my picking looks like on that again. So it's everything's a downstroke except for that strum there. Cool, so using an upstroke on that strum is going to be crucial for getting this to sound right. Next we're going into the A sus2, and I'm going to start with the strum. Right, so I'm strumming this chord, then I'm going to pick strings 5 and 4, add my pinky finger down on string 1, and I'm using a down upstroke right there. So when I add this pinky finger on string 1 is a downstroke. I take the pinky finger off, that's an upstroke, and then if you notice at the very end of that measure it's just some open strings. That's going to be open strings 2, 3, and 4. So pausing there for a second, if we put that all together, here's what the first line sounds like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. Let me do that one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, going on to line 2, we start with an E major chord. Right, and I'm going to do a downstroke, all the strings, and then a smaller downstroke just on strings 6 and 5, followed by an upstroke, strings 1, 2, and 3. So watch the strumming on that one. Right, so down, down, up. Then I'm going to pick some individual notes here. Right, this is leading into the B7 chord. So this is a little walk up, a little bass run, or a little bass walk up that takes us into the B7 chord. So you're going to pick these first 2 notes here, open string, 1st fret. When you get to the 2nd fret, you need to start building the rest of that chord with your left hand here. So your middle finger will stay on the 2nd fret at that point, and you got to get the rest of these fingers on. So here that is again. We walk up, grab the rest of the chord, and we keep picking strings 4, 3, then 2 and 1 together, and then I let go with my pinky and I do that open string 1 with an upstroke. So here's what this looks like again. Right, and then there's some open strings at the end of this measure again. So right, so after those open strings, I strum the E chord again. I'm going to do 2 downstrokes. Hammer on string 3 to 0 to 1, and then an upstroke on strings 1 and 2. So that little fill there is a downstroke for the hammer on, and an upstroke for the open strings. So we're on the 3rd measure, line 2, E major would sound like this. Cool. Now we have the B augmented arpeggio, which is actually a pretty easy one. We just need 2 fingers. Put your index finger on string 4, 1st fret, middle fingers on string 5, 2nd fret, and we're going to pick strings 5, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4. And my picking direction on that is going to be down, 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 up, up, up. Try that again. Down, 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 up, up, up. Pausing there for a second. Let's see if we can put it all together. So we start at the beginning with an E major. Here we go. 2, ready, go. Slide up. Back to E. So be mindful of where those upstrokes are happening, because that's really going to help your rhythm sound natural. Cool. Let's do it one more time. 2, ready, go, is E. So there was an upstroke on that chord on the 4-0-0. Then we come back to E. Upstroke right there. Upstroke right there. when I'm playing this in the song, I'm also throwing in a bunch of variations. So the chords are all going to be the same, but I might do different little fills. I might do different little walk-ups. So maybe something like... So it's the same chords, but a few different little fills and things like that. Cool, and I'm not really planning that out ahead of time. I'm just sort of improvising those as I go. All right, so that is the acoustic guitar part that uses capo number 2. Now there is another guitar part in the song, which we're not going to go into too heavily in this lesson, but just to show you what I mean. So the other rhythm guitar part in this is actually a slide guitar part. And what I did for that is I'm using an alternate tuning. My guitar is in something called open G flat. Basically, I'm using an open G tuning, and all of the strings are loosened a half step further down. So the way that my guitar is tuned is string 1 is now D flat or C sharp. String 2 is a B flat or an A sharp. String 3 is a G flat or an F sharp. String 4 is a D flat or a C sharp. String 5 is a G flat or an F sharp again. And string 6, that nice deep low note, is a D flat or a C sharp. Cool, so let's call it open G flat. In that case, it would be D flat, G flat, D flat, G flat, B flat, D flat. The reason I'm using this open tuning is because it makes it easy to work with the slide, because anywhere I move the slide on the guitar, I'm essentially going to get a major chord. Right? And then since I have these really deep low strings in here, I can do these cool fills. That has that real deep kind of who's your daddy sound on the guitar. So without really getting into the details of how to play slide guitar too much, I'm in open G flat tuning, and I'm doing something like... Right? Essentially what's going on there, without really being able to explain it too much, is that I get the 1 chord on the 12th fret, I get the 4 chord on the 5th fret, and I get the 5 chord on the 7th fret. Also, the open strings are the 1 chord there. So I can't really do the 6 minor too well on this, but the notes up here, those notes will actually work with the 6 minor chord just fine. It's just that you can't really tell unless there's a bass player or unless I'm playing with someone else. I can't really do that augmented chord that much, but it doesn't really matter because I can just kind of hit the 5 chord like this and let the other guitar player play that augmented chord. Cool, so if we put that all together, it would sound something like this. It's just starting over. This is not the end. It's just starting over. Let's do it again. When I was a young man with so much to lose, I thought I knew something, but that wasn't true. I thought I knew true love, thought I knew who I was. I thought I Cool, that's about the size of it. If you're interested in learning the guitar or you're just starting out, be sure to check out my Easy Strumming Quick Start Guide that contains 12 free lessons to get you up and strumming as fast as possible. Go ahead and follow the link below and I'll email it to you. Also, if you're interested in more advanced concepts such as blues guitar, slide guitar, improvising your own solos, or songwriting, be sure to check out my website where I offer private lessons for guitar, bass, ukulele, voice, and more. And finally, I would love to connect with you. If you do make it over to my website, be sure to punch in your email address and I'll send you my next single before it even comes out and share with you some behind-the-scenes stories. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. It's just starting over. This is not the end. It's just starting over. Let's do it again. When I was a young man with so much to lose, I thought I knew something, but that wasn't true. I thought I knew true love. Thought I knew who I was. I thought I knew something, but I